Namaskar. My name is Dr. Gajendra Singh, and today I am going to discuss structure and function of kidney. So, first of all, the content of my presentation are number one, introduction, then external structure of kidney, then after internal structure or anatomy of the kidney will be discussed, and in the last we will discuss briefly the functions of the kidney. So, first of all, introduction. As body cell carry out metabolic activities, they consume oxygen and nutrients and produce several waste products like ammonia, carbon dioxide, urea, uric acid, etc. And these waste products must be eliminated from the body because they can be toxic to cells if they are accumulated in the body. So, in the simple terms, the excretion is the removal of metabolic waste from the body. And kidneys are the main excretory organ for eliminating nitrogenous waste from the body. The specialty of the science or the branch of science that deals with the study of anatomy, physiology, and pathology of the kidney, this is referred to as nephrology. Then if we see the location, we can see there are two kidneys. So this is paired structure and it is radish kidney bean shaped. And the location of kidney is just above the waistline. You can see this is the waist area and this is located between the peritoneum and posterior wall of abdomen. And because the position of the kidneys is posterior to the peritoneum, so they are also known as to be retroperitoneal in position. Peritoneum is a tissue which surrounds the internal organ of the body, right? The right kidney, we can see here, it presents at slightly lower level as compared to the left kidney. This is the right kidney, and this is the position is lower because of the presence of liver in the right side of the abdominal cavity. So, because there is liver which occupies the considerable space in the abdomen, so the right kidney is slightly pushed downward. Then, if we see the external structure of the kidney, we can see clearly that there is a convex surface of the kidney, and on the other hand, there is a concave border, and this concavity is known as renal hilum. And in this renal hilum, this is providing space for the renal arteries and renal vein and the ureter along with nerves and lymphatic vessels. So these comes out from the renal hilum. The size, the size of kidney in an adult human being is around 10 to 12 centimeter in length, 5 to 7 centimeter in width, and around 3 centimeter in the thickness. The weight being anywhere between 135 to 150 gram of each kidney. Then the layers of the kidney. If we cut a transverse section of kidney, you can see here in the corner, if we cut the transverse section, so we can see the presence of kidney along with some other visceral organs in the abdomen. So the kidney which is present onto the right side, this is known as right kidney, and the one which is present onto the left side is known as left kidney, as we have discussed it earlier. And we can also say here in this cross section that liver is situated in the close proximity of this right kidney. We can also see there are different layers which are surrounding the kidney, and from outside to inside, if we see, the outermost layer is known as renal fascia. You can see here renal fascia is the thin layer of dense irregular connective tissue that is anchoring the kidney to the surrounding structures. The second layer of the kidney, the middle one, this is known as adipose capsule, and it is known as adipose because this is consisting of fatty tissue, and it also protects kidney from trauma, from injuries, and holds it firmly within the abdominal cavity. The third one, the innermost layer of the kidney, this is known as renal capsule. This is very smooth, transparent sheet of dense, irregular connective tissue, and it serves as a barrier against trauma and helps maintain the shape of the kidney. So the shape of the kidney is maintained by the renal capsule, which is the innermost layer of kidney. Next, we can see the anatomy of the kidney, the internal structure of the kidney. How does the kidney looks like from within inner side, within the kidney, how this is looking like. So we can see that this is having mainly two parts. The outer part, this is known as renal cortex, which is superficial. So this is light red area. It is known as cortex. And there is another area which is deep inside. This is comparatively darker red inner region, which is known as renal medulla. And renal medulla, this is consisting of different, cone-like structure. We can see here that different cone-like structures are present, which are known as pyramid. So the renal medulla, this is having renal pyramids, and the base of pyramid is towards renal cortex, whereas the apex of each pyramid, the narrower end of each pyramid, this is towards the renal hilum. This is apex and this is the base, and adjacent to this apex of pyramid, there is a region, cup-like region or the cup-like structure, which is known as minor calyx. This is minor calyx, and different minor calyx, they unite to form the major calyx, and different major calyx, they unite to form a large cavity which is known as renal pelvis. So this is the inner portion which is known as medulla, and these pyramids, these minor calyx, these major calyx, and renal pelvis, these are the parts of medulla region of kidney, which is the inner portion of the kidney. Now one more thing, that some portion of renal cortex, this is present in between the adjacent renal pyramids. So the portions of the renal cortex which is extending between the renal pyramids, it is known as renal columns. You can see the labeling here, renal column. So this is the renal column. It can be simply understood as the extension of renal cortex in the medulla. One more interesting region is there, which is known as renal lobe. So renal lobe, it is consisting of renal pyramid, its overlying area of renal cortex, and one half area each of renal column. एडजेसेंट रीनल कॉलम का हाफ हिस्सा पिरामिड और इसके ऊपर का renal cortex. These three parts, they constitute the renal lobe, and this renal lobe is having parenchyma. The tissue is known as parenchyma, and in this parenchyma are present numerous very fine structures, very microscopic structure, and these microscopic structure, which are the functional unit of the kidney, they are known as to be nephron. So the nephron are microscopic structure, and it can be seen only with the help of microscope, and this cannot be seen by the naked eye. And around 1 million nephron is present in each kidney. The urine which is formed by the nephrons. We all know that the urine is formed by these nephrons because these are the functional units of the kidney. So the main function of the kidney is attributed to these nephrons. So the nephron, they produce the urine, and this urine then goes into the large papillary ducts. The papillary ducts are the ducts which are present in the renal papilla of the pyramid. The papillary ducts, then they drain into the cup-like structure, the minor calyx, and then into the major calyx. And we know that the number of minor calyx or the minor calyces, in the plural we can say calyces, the number of minor calyces in each kidney is around 8 to 18. And the number of major calyces is around 2 to 3. So the path of urine drainage is from nephron to the papillary duct, then to minor calyx, then major calyx, and then it comes into the large cavity, that is renal pelvis, and from the pelvis it enters into the ureter, and then it goes and temporarily storage occurs in the urinary bladder. So these are the main regions or the internal anatomy of the kidney. Now we have understood these points. These are about the regions of the kidney, renal cortex and medulla, then pyramids, the renal papilla, the cortex. There is one more region we can see here, the region which is near to this base of the pyramid. This is known as juxtamedullary region. The part of cortex which is near to this pyramid, this is known as renal, this is known as juxtamedullary, and the outer portion of the cortex is known as cortical region. So these are two more regions which we need to understand for some other physiological aspects of the kidney. Then we can study the structure of nephron, which are the functional units